signed with the Ghana Education Service, the Ministry of Education, and then the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission. The minister will have to respond to where we are now. We need to avert any disturbance on the labor front.
Away from education matters now, more than 400 persons displaced by the Akosombo Dam spillage are still stuck in the various camps in the North Tongue district of the Volta region. 2 years after the disaster, which displaced thousands of residents in the Central, North, South Tongue districts, housing unit projects commenced by government to provide decent accommodation for the victims continue to stall. There's more on this report.
Thousands of residents in the North, South and Central Tongue districts, among others, were rendered homeless during the Akosombo Dam spillage disaster, which occurred in October 2023. Government subsequently rolled into action to commence work on the construction of 1,010 housing units in the Tongue enclave to provide decent accommodation for the victims. But 2 years on, no single housing unit has been completed, leaving a good number of the victims still in the Agbetikpo, Aveyime and Mepe camps. We just entered the third year since we were brought to the camps, but nothing has changed. The rooms are congested and we are struggling for space. So we are appealing to government to support us. They should support us with livelihood support packages so that our children can go to school. But most importantly, we need decent accommodation. Staying here for this long is not pleasant at all. We do not have a place to bath, nor a place of convenience, and so we bath in the open. We are struggling. We are struggling to feed ourselves, and so we need support. As for the accommodation, we want to urge government to complete the projects so we can move into them. Whereas the North Tongue district is expected to benefit more than 600 housing units, about 200 more are expected to be built in the South Tongue district.
We are only pleading that they expedite action so that we can complete these buildings and the people will move from the various camps and come and live in the buildings that the government is providing. For some time now, we have not been able to support them. But just yesterday, they sent a message across that they want us to come back and support them. So we also put in food. So we also putting our heads together and see what the assembly can do. I've also sent words to my honorable MP.
We're expecting that by now the victims would have moved in, but as you can see, the project has delayed, and today that the minister is here and has assured us, we know that President John Dramani Mahama walks the talk.
Minister for Works and Housing Kenneth Gilbert Eje, who toured the project site on Tuesday, assured the victims that the Mahama administration will commit to completing the projects.
We've all seen today, that the projects are way behind schedule. Looking at the rate at which the work is going, I would say it's even below 10% overall completion rate. It will be below 10%. And it confirms a report that I received from our consultant, AESL. So I just want to assure the good people of South, North and Central Tongue that His Excellency the President, through the Ministry of Works, Housing and Water Resources, will ensure that this project is completed.
Though government has begun processes to compensate the affected persons, the victims are yet to receive anything. Faisal Abdul Idrisu, TV3 News.
It was quite a horrific incident that they had to go through or endure for a number of months until supply and help started coming in. You recall that we here at Media General also solicited for assistance for our compatriots who were unfortunately affected by the flooding in North Tongue and South and Central Tongue. So we want to look at the numbers as of now, 2 years on. What exactly is the situation on the ground? We know that when the situation happened, as of 2023, the report that was available, and this was not just the Government of Ghana report, but the UN and other international agencies that donated or supported, managed to put up some statistics and data, and it clearly told us that almost 40,000 individuals were affected. As we speak now, about 400 plus are still in the makeshift camps that were provided by philanthropists and individuals who came to their aid. So it tells you that the numbers are quite still high, although some assistance has gone in. And this was a promise from the then government, the NPP government, under whose administration this happened, immediately promised that at least about 2,225 homes will be constructed, probably even more, so that they can help accommodate the affected victims. As we speak, we are told that some of the projects have stalled. And you saw in the report we played a few minutes ago that construction in some of the areas have reached lentil level and still going. Hopefully, funding will not cut so that those accommodation or houses will be completed in due time to be occupied by the affected victims. And again, not just places of abode were affected, schools, farms, works and businesses of some of these people living in that area badly affected. But on education specifically, about 100 plus schools were affected, and that disruption is currently being felt, especially by students or children, pupils who were getting education. It was cut, and for several months they had to stay at home waiting for help to come. Coincidentally, governments in this case plural, the previous and the current, have been responsive. So in the 2024 budget, 200 million plus was made available to help the victims. In 2025, the current administration made available 243 million Ghana cedis. And the 2026 budget that was read a few days ago has allocated about 500 million Ghana cedis. That's about almost double the amount that was allocated in 2025 for the victims. Clearly, it is what will go into the construction of the buildings and also make sure that electricity, clean water, etc. is made available to help our compatriots in and around the affected area. So we'll keep very close tabs on this now that the minister has visited and keep you posted. Back to you, Portia.
Thank you so much, Martin. Let's now go to Parliament, where the majority has requested that Matthew Nyundam be denied entry into the chamber, saying he is no longer a member of Parliament after a court order for fresh elections in the Mandai constituency. The minority has, however, rejected that application and the court ruling, accusing the bench of shameful conduct. Christian Yali reports.
Matthew Nyundam was cited in Parliament when proceedings began. At the time, it was not clear whether he was defying the court order or Parliament had not been served the court orders. Later in the day, during the commentary on the 2026 budget, he was invited to also contribute from the minority side. But the majority quickly objected to that invitation.
Mr. Speaker, ipso facto, the Honorable Nyundam is no longer a member of this House. He's not. We have received the court orders and received proof of service. The orders of the court has been duly served on Parliament. It was served yesterday. The Honorable Nyundam is now a persona non grata. I pray that he must even be marched out of the chamber. Never, as leader of this House, did I advocate that Honorable Jechikwesi, having lost a high court case, should be marched out of this chamber. Let me spend a bit of time on Jechikwesi. After the high court ruling, and he filed an appeal and a stay of execution, this House never denied Jechikwesi his right of entry and his right to be heard.
The Speaker of Parliament has indicated to me that I should freeze this particular matter relating to Honorable Matthew Nyundam, and therefore I'm not going to make any comment on it. I pray that we hold on with the discussion or the commentary on the budget. So Mr. Speaker will take on this matter when he takes the seat.
The minority leader, Alexander Feomaken, addressed the press and described the ruling of the Tamale High Court as problematic, saying it was reckless and shameful.
The relief sought by the petitioner himself was clear and specific. He requested rerun in those 41 polling stations. Yet, In a development that defies ordinary legal reasoning, the High Court issued an order directing a full rerun of the entire Pandai parliamentary election, covering all 152 polling stations, to be completed within 30 days. The NDC candidates and its supporters were aware of the judgment before the day. For a judge to casually void an entire constituency elections without first ensuring that a complete reasoned judgment was prepared and published is not merely irregular, it is judicial irresponsibility of the highest order.
And then he makes a direct communication that the NPP MPs are ready to be invited for a contempt of court, and that, if possible, they are ready to be jailed.
What kind of kangaroo judicial system we having now in Ghana? We will not mince words. They can conspire to call us one by one for a so-called contempt of court. We are criticizing their shameful conduct. We are not afraid. We are ready to be in Nsawam. How can a judge who calls himself a judge sit in court and misconduct himself in such a manner and expect the country to be quiet?
He has declared that Matthew Nyandam remains the lawful elected member of parliament for the Pandai constituency, asking constituents not to be bothered.
To the good, peaceful and hard-working people of Pandai, your votes matter, your voice matter, your MP remains at post.
Staying in Parliament and the House, together with the Africa Centre for Parliamentary Affairs, ASEPA, is pushing for stronger collaboration in shaping gender-responsive laws. A regional forum in Accra brought together lawmakers, civil society organizations, and citizens from across the globe to address a long-standing concern.
Gender-responsive laws recognize that women, men, and vulnerable groups experience society differently, so the laws must address those differences. For years, civil society organizations, CSOs, and gender advocates have argued that many laws fail to address the real needs of women and vulnerable groups because they are drafted with little citizen input. The regional forum, organized by Parliament together with the African Centre for Parliamentary Affairs, is aimed at addressing gaps in the laws. Beyond the discussions, how can we make our laws gender responsive?
If you look at the population of women, women are more than men. But when it comes to decision making around the table, usually it's a team of men. And that is what we are trying to change. And we believe that the first place from which to start is Parliament, because that's where the laws are made. And when they are making laws, we want those laws to be gender responsive.
Delegations from Kenya and Togo spoke about the community consultations that shaped gender bills, highlighting changes to the domestic violence legislation. Ghanaian CSOs say similar concerns exist here.
But in terms of trying to see how Parliament can come up with more gender-sensitive laws, we are working with groups like ASEPA and helping do training for some of the parliamentary staff to bring their consciousness on the need for, making sure that the laws that they make are more gender sensitive.
But what really are the gaps?
I think the biggest thing is our cultural setting, some religious views, etc., about gender issues, role of women, role of men, etc. And sometimes people thinking that laws are laws. But the reality is that research has shown that if you actually do like an impact analysis on some laws, the way it impacts women, the way it impacts men is different.
Parliament recognizes the need to strengthen its engagement with citizens and CSOs.
This law, together with strengthened parliamentary procedures, support the integration of gender considerations into lawmaking and sets a standard for sensitive governance. Parliament itself has now established robust systems to engage the public, including the citizens. We have established the Citizens Bureau and our Parliament TV is one of the actions that we've taken. We've also strengthened our Public Affairs Division.
The two-day event, held under the theme Parliament CSO Citizen Collaboration on Gender Responsive Lawmaking, The regional forum aims to create structures to institutionalize gender-responsive laws.
You're still watching News 360 on TV3. We have the latest in the world of business and the update on the Champions League ongoing in sports later. Stay with us.
I love President Charcoal. Why?
When there are so many other charcoal toothpaste.
That's both charcoal and lemon.
Oh, does it?
Yes, look right here.
Yes. Pepsodent Charcoal has 2 of nature's powerful whitening ingredients. With the power of activated charcoal and lemon essence, it removes stains and whitens teeth naturally.
Convinced? Well,
Good evening. Welcome to the business segment on News 360. I am Minu Afol. Finance and tax expert Nelson Kujo-Kwagbeji says the Bank of Ghana's latest rate cut to 18% will only make a meaningful difference if banks rapidly ease lending rates to support struggling businesses and drive employment growth. The Bank of Ghana, in its 127th MPC meetings, cut its benchmark policy rates by another 350 basis points, citing improved macroeconomic conditions, a strong reserve position, and a clear path of disinflation into next year.
The Monetary Policy Committee concluded its 127th meeting with yet another major policy shift, a further rate cut, the second in 3 months, and a signal of confidence that the worst of inflationary pressures are behind the economy.
The prevailing high real interest rates provides some scope to ease policy to further boost the growth recovery efforts.
Governor Dr. Johnson Esiama added that inflation is expected to remain around target well into the first half of 2026, a development that leaves room to support the real economy with lower interest rates.
This is against the backdrop that current risks in the outlook to shift the path of inflation away from target have moderated significantly.
Meanwhile, private sector watchers say the policy rate cut should now translate into real relief for borrowers, especially businesses seeking capital to expand production. Head of Finance at Melbourne Capital, Nelson Kujo-Kwagbeji explains.
You realize that in the 2026 budget, the government intends to create about 800,000 jobs. And that jobs will not only be created by the government, but the private sector will play a key role. Now, the private sector too cannot grow when they cannot have access to cheap source of fund. And so we expect that now that the policy rate is at 18%, the banks will cut down further on their lending rate.
Alongside the new rate cut, the central bank is also returning to the 14-day bill as its main instrument for open market operations. The committee meets again in late January with a fresh policy rate decision set to be announced on January 28, 2026.
Away from that, the digital payments economy in Africa is expected to reach $1.5 trillion by 2030, increasing its associated risks. In line with this, Visa is heavily investing in the security of its partners and customers while offering seamless services.
Africa's digital payment market is growing rapidly, with sub-Saharan Africa leading the world in mobile money accounts. Instant payment transaction volumes grew at an average annual rate of 35% since 2020. The high risks associated with digital payments has compelled Visa to invest over $3 billion over the last 5 years alone on Gen AI capabilities to fight against advanced fraud. The Payments Industry Cybersecurity Summit 2025, organized by Visa in partnership with the Bank of Ghana, offered the platform to extensively deliberate on emerging risk.
It's just the start. It's not going to end here. We need to have regular dialogue with the different partners in the ecosystem to ensure that we talk the same language and we ensure that we don't left any holes into the payment ecosystem for fraudsters to really, attack, the asset of the country.
The central bank emphasized the need for fintech businesses to take issues of cybersecurity seriously in the wake of increasing digital payments.
I am pleased to announce that the published draft revision of the CISD proposes the formal elevation of the CISO role. This change is designed to meet the growing need of cybersecurity leadership at the highest level of strategic decision making.
Irene Alma is the head of risks at Visa, in charge of businesses in sub-Saharan Africa.
The threat actors are becoming more and more sophisticated, and therefore you have to use sophisticated tools to be able to counter that sophisticated threat.
There was a panel discussion to extensively tap into the expertise of resource persons aimed at advancing digital payment, particularly Visa.
We'll end the segment now with updates from the forex and commodities markets. I am Minu Afol.
Hello, good evening, and welcome to the sports segment here on News 360 with me, Oreku Ampofo. We start off from the Ghana Premier League, where Basake Holy Stars beat Asante Kotoko 2-1 in their outstanding match week 3 Ghana Premier League match. Richard Somia opened the scoring, and Kwame Poku equalized just 4 minutes later, but then Prince Chuneboa netted a stoppage time winner to hand the home side only their second victory of the season so far. The victory moves Holy Stars to 10 points, bolstering their hopes of escaping the relegation zone. For Asante Kotoko, the defeat was costly as it ends their impressive 10-game unbeaten streak in the season so far, leaving no unbeaten side in the Premier League. Kotoko remain on 20 points and sits fourth on the table, 3 points behind leaders Ediana. Their next challenge is a difficult home fixture against third place Mediama Sporting Club. To Asante Kotoko head coach Karim Zito, and he has ruled missed chances following their team's 2-1 defeat to Holy Stars in the Ghana Premier League on Wednesday afternoon. Now, speaking in his post-match interview, that he argued his team should have won the game after missing a number of opportunities.
We should have won this game. Seriously, we should have won this game. Once again, we squandered the chances. You took your chances. So, to me, we shouldn't have lost this game, but it's part of the game, so it is okay. For every club, we all want to win the league. It's not only Kotoko. If the way you play here, if the way you are playing every club, there wouldn't be last. So, Kotoko, everybody wants to beat Kotoko. That is the magnetic of the issue. But we didn't play badly. We played good football, and we created chances, but putting the ball into the net was another, once again, the problem. But so far, so good. We are playing the league.
Well, moving away from the Ghana Premier League, and Ghana will head into the 2026 FIFA World Cup draw from Pot 4, setting the stage for a probable challenging group when the ceremony takes place on December 5 in Washington, D.C. The heavyweight opponent looming potentially, and FIFA's regional rules also in play. The Black Stars do await a defining moment in their 2026 World Cup journey. The following 3 Sports Report has more.
Have been assigned to Port 4 for the 2026 FIFA World Cup group stage draw, scheduled for 5th December in Washington, D.C. The Black Stars share Port 4 with Jordan, Cape Verde, Curacao, Haiti, New Zealand, the 4 UEFA playoff winners, and the 2 FIFA playoff tournament qualifiers. Other African teams ranked higher, Morocco and Senegal, feature in Port 2, while Egypt, Algeria, Tunisia, Cote d'Ivoire, and South Africa have been placed in Port 3. With this setup, Ghana is expected to face a heavyweight from Pot 1, potentially Spain, Argentina, or England, alongside strong Pot 2 opponents such as Croatia, Japan, or long-standing rivals Uruguay, depending on how the draw unfolds. FIFA's rules ensure that no group can include more than 1 African nation. Ghana booked their place at the tournament after topping Group I with 25 points, finishing ahead of Mali, Madagascar, Chad, the Central African Republic, and Comoros. The Black Stars will find out their group stage opponent when the draw is concluded on 5th December.
Now, before we go, let's just bring you updates from the UEFA Champions League. Remember that is the final set of games for match day 4, and Kairat Almaty fell to a 3-2 defeat in Denmark against Copenhagen, whilst Pafos scored late to hold Monaco to a 2-2 draw as the final set of matches this match week remaining. They do kick off at 8 p.m. The big one sees Arsenal welcome Bayern Munich to the Emirates. You can get updates of all of these games and more on our social media handles at 3 Sports. GH, my name is Oreku Ampofo, and entertainment news is up next.
Entertainment news segment is brought to you by GTP Lifestyle and Napa Foods. Entertainment.
Good evening and welcome to the entertainment news segment here on News 360. My name is Noella Donko. Now, when most graduates decided to follow the traditional path, MC Nana King took a bold risk, leaving his HND behind to chase a career as a hype man. Now, his gamble is paying off, earning him top gigs, award nominations, and a reputation as one of Ghana's most electrifying hype men.
Born Emmanuel Nanapia, MC Nana King's passion for hyping began in the university days, where he hosted campus shows, hall weeks and parties. His electrifying stage presence quickly made him a student favorite.
SHS, I was a science student, and then when I entered into the tertiary, I picked a lab technician course, which I finished successfully. But then my last year, that was when I discovered the MC thing. There was this party on campus. I nailed it. It was one nightclub at Asylum Down. So after the night, the manager even walked to me and he was like, he wanted to work with me.
Despite the buzz he created, the energetic hype man, who studied as a science laboratory technician at the Accra Technical University, treated hyping as a side activity. After graduation, he interned at the laboratory of the Achimota Government Hospital.
When you enter through the OPD and you see patients sitting down, the next room I would enter is the lab. And the lab, there's another inner door, which is where we call the blood bank. The nurses will come, they'll just drop the blood, and you are the one doing all the blood tests. And then writing maybe HB, so and so, that kind of vibe. And I realized that, no, that's not me. I have to really pay attention to this MC work. So I felt that kind of vibe that, no, I think the lab thing wasn't really you.
When his internship ended, his decision to pursue hyping full-time faced resistance from his brother. MC Nana King, however, believed in his dream.
I don't really follow trends. The moment I pick up the mic, I do my own thing. So when I came into the space, I was like, so what can I do? Something unique that I've not seen any MC do. That was when I came up with the Jama vibe.
Today, he's the lead hype man at one of Accra's most vibrant pubs, Kona Inosu. He has grown into one of the city's most sought-after hype men, securing gigs at nightclubs, concerts, brand activations, and private events. As Dirty December approaches, the rising star has been booked for major shows headlined by top Ghanaian artists, and says he has no regrets choosing passion over a traditional career path.
MC hype man, it's a serious business. If I'm not blowing my trumpet, what an MC or a hype man can end in an hour is your whole 31-day salary. So please, never look down on an MC or a hype man. It's a well-paying job, I'm telling you. I wouldn't have...
Well, that's it for the entertainment news segment here on News 360. My name is Noella Donko.
Thank you so much, Noella. On the international front, a group of military officers say they have seized control of Guinea-Bissau amid reports that the president, Umaru Sissoco Embalo, has been arrested. Shortly after, gunshots were heard in the capital, Bissau. Government sources told the BBC that the president had been detained.
It's been a pleasure coming your way. Thank you for watching. I am Martin Asiedudate.
And I am Portia Gabo. Good evening.